we are going to be on page 4. I wanted to kind of point out a few things that we had discussed earlier and that I had mentioned. If you look on page 4, down at the nomenclature, that's kind of your resource of those questions that I told you your clients would be asking you. Each row of beams is 150 centimeters apart. Most configurations accommodate one training station. Training bars can hold up to 135 kilograms, 300 pounds. Standard Queen-X height is over 9 feet tall. Just a couple of, and then with the nomenclature, if you hear that Ashton has picked you guys out an X2 750, X2 meant that there was 2 columns. So if you had an X3, you'd have 3 rows of columns, 2 sets of monkey bars. Make sense on that? So that's how they're referred to. So if you hear of a club that's getting an X5, that's like 5 rows of columns, 4 sets of monkey bars. So that would have come out like kind of where Ashton is kind of sitting right now. And then a couple of the words to get used to: Queen-X frame, Queen-X fixed optionals. The fixed optionals are what are actually bolted onto the frame. They can be removed by the actual installation team only. And then we've got the Queen-X removable optionals. That is your wall bars, mini wall bars, and plyometric platform, different things like that. And excuse me, they attach to the wall bars and mini wall bars. And then your Queen-X apps are anything that is attached for suspension fitness. That would be like your super functional or your up strength that I brought to show you. And then I want you to know the different configurations. Just be aware of them. You see the bridge that's in the picture? That's actually over a Group X studio. It goes up one side of the studio, up and over the studio, and then down the other side. So there is 0 floor space taken up. So a club at a Westin Hotel in Vail, Colorado, did a bridge, and it actually turned out really beautiful because they have all this aerial space that they can work with. They took out none of their floor space. So they can have like a super functional class from 9 to 10, take all the super functionals down, and by 10:10 or 10:05, whenever they get the class out, they can have a yoga class in there. So they took up 0 space of the floor, and it just looks really, really cool in that too. You've got the format, which is the X2 450. That is just your basic one that only has 3 stations on each side, 6 stations total, but it's kind of a condensed version of what you guys have here. So you guys kind of got a bonus with 10 additional station or 10 stations total. And then you have your X3 600. So I just wanted you to be exposed to each piece. Then you have a functional corner. A lot of personal training gyms are utilizing these, where if we wanted to put just a Queen-X in that corner over there, normally corners are wasted space, or where we throw mats or med balls or something, you can actually fit in a Queen-X piece. You'll see that the 2 training stations hang at the bottom or the base of the triangle. Does that make sense of how that is? That's like a triangle this way where it fits right into that corner. Then you have wall solutions. So if I wanted to cover this wall behind me all the way down to the end, I could cover it with a Queen-X up against the wall for space, and then have the monkey bars have an overhang to the front. There's a YMCA in Scottsdale that actually has that piece, and they're the ones that put the turf kind of in front of it and underneath it. And then you have the one. The one is when you have, this is what I say was creative for this, is you know those columns, you guys might even have them here, you know those big columns sometimes in the middle of weight rooms or in the middle of rooms, the columns are holding up the stability of the building. Well, normally those columns can't be used for anything except putting a sign up like membership dues are due on January 5th, you know, or come to Emma's class, you know, or something like that. So now you can actually put 4 different ones all the way around those columns. And then you got little exercise stations, but you see how it's got that one training bar coming out from that piece, which I thought was pretty cool as well. And then if you just wanted to have fancy looking storage, Queen-X does storage only. So Planet Fitness has bought a lot of just the storage because they wanted all their gyms to look identical in that chain. So they bought a ton of the storage there. All right, moving on to page 7. Let's talk a little bit about functional training and what it really means to us and how we talk about it to our clients. When we discuss functional training with our clients, what kind of things do we say is functional training? Like if someone says, why am I doing this? What is functional training? What would you say as a fitness professional what it is?
It's an everyday movement.
Allows you to do your daily activities in daily life.
Everyday movement allows, I like how you said allows you to do daily activities and movement in life. What else do you say? How do you describe it to a non-exercise professional?
Help you perform.
The performance of it, exactly. The daily movements, the performance allows you to do. What else do we talk about? Anything else come to
I always
mind?
say it's real life stuff instead of just working on building bigger muscles
Right,
and stuff.
or sets and reps.
Yeah.
Which there's a place for sets and reps. There's a place for isolation movements. There's a place for the pin and plate stacks of machines because that's just part of the fitness continuum. You want to think of the whole continuum like this, where strength is part of it, and then functional training is this. So we need everything in that continuum. If you look highlighted in blue, the first paragraph, I'd like you to briefly read through that quickly. That is the definition of functional training according to the American College of Sports Medicine. And then after you read that, I would like you to read the second highlighted blue paragraph, which was an article published by the American Council of Exercise, ACE. So everything that you guys said to me, you probably just read in so many words there, where I see the function of his or her daily routine. Functional fitness is defined as using strength training. The words we use: balance, coordination, agility, endurance. If you go to the middle of the page where it says according to the article, I'd like for you to circle or underline or highlight integrate rather than isolate. Train motion, not just muscles. I feel like that little statement right there sums up functional training perfectly. If I had to do it in like 10 words or less, I just thought that was genius. Integrate rather than isolate. Train motion, not just muscles. And then replicate coordination, contraction, movement, speed, and range of motion of sport and life activities. So performance is different for everybody, because for an athlete, functional training can be sports oriented, couldn't it? That is a function of their day, that they have to perform at high levels. Or another athlete, that their function is to walk down the hallway. Or John was saying he has a 99-year-old class member. Her performance of that day can be different than a volleyball player at your local high school. They've all got their levels of performance that make them get through the day efficient and feeling good. I want you to flip over to page 8. Earlier I said we have a digital movement library. Then I said there was a classification system, and there was there was a movement type categorization that helps you find the exercises in the movement library. I'd like for you to go on page 8, and I would go to the middle of the page where it says Kleenex category definitions. We have categorized exercises in 3 different categories depending on their training position and their lever movements and their prime movers. I'd like you to read through category 1, look at the picture down at the bottom. I'd like you to read category 2, look at the picture, and then so on. Have a well-rounded program for your classes and your clients. You want to have a nice sprinkling of all different categories of the classification system, all right? So So in a category 1, we're talking about the prime movers only. So if I was doing a push-up, 2 hands, 2 feet, that is a category 1. Does this make sense? Of the prime movers being bilateral, okay? Then when I go, and it's in a single plane of motion. If I go to category 2, that's when we start talking about unilateral movements. That's when we start talking about asymmetrical movements. If you notice the category 2, actually that's me in the picture with the ponytail, that was that asymmetrical push-up where the 2 sides of the prime mover are not exactly alike. So it's that challenge of the body. And that is also in a single plane of motion. And then your category 3s are the ones that add a level of difficulty to where they may be dynamic in nature, they're in multiple planes of motion, and they have a combination of movements, or plyometrics or power training. So you know the diva move that I like so much? That's a category 3 because it's a combination of movement patterns. So if I was doing a push-up on 2 hands with 1 foot in the air, what category would that be? If I'm doing a push-up, my prime mover, but 1 foot is in the air. My stabilizer, my base of support is only 1, but my prime mover is 2. What category would that be?
2.
Raise your hand if you think it's 1. Prime mover. Remember the classification system is only referring to the prime movers. Does that make sense? Not the basis of support. If I'm doing a 1-arm push-up, that's your 2, because it's the prime mover. So everybody stand up for me. And I don't want you to get too bogged down on this. I just want you to understand how we've classified things. So when you're looking through the computer, this will make sense. And this will make sense before we leave. Okay, so everybody do a squat. What category?
1.
Okay, so why did you call that a 1?
Prime movers are
The prime movers are the legs. Okay, so go to 1 leg. Do like baby squats. What is that? This is category 2. So put your feet back down. So let's add a jump. What category is that?
3.
3 because of what?
Plyo.
We added the power training or the plyometric aspect. Okay, if your stomach is not too full, drop down to a push-up. You can be kneeling if you want to. Do a push-up. Do 1 push-up. What category?
1.
Take your foot off the ground. Do a push-up. What category?
1.
Why?
Still the prime mover.
Right. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps to do it. Okay? So if we did a clap push-up, well, but if we did a clap, what would that be?
3.
The 3. Okay,
Plyometric.
get it? Yes. So what if I did a push-up? So what would you classify this as?
3.
2.
Who says 3?
8.
Who says 3? I say 3 because remember, 3s go through all ranges of motion. Make sense?
Plane of motion.
2s, 1s and 2s stay in the single plane of motion. 3s go multiple. So if you look at your definitions, I know this is, it's like hard, like do your push-ups again. So everybody come down and do those rotational push-ups with me. And I'm adding multiple movement types also. So I've got the push-up, rotate, stabilize, come back down, push-up, rotate, stabilize, turn around. So I've added multiple movement patterns, and I've also added different planes of motion. Got it? Okay, good. So now what I want to start doing, transferring, remember those 3 exercises that you came up with? Did you write them down or just remember them? Okay, go back to those exercises, and I want you to put a cat 1, cat 2, and cat 3 by them. And I'll help you if you want, if you have questions. 3.
Yep.
Keep your definitions with you.
Since we kind of did that one.
Single leg, so that's 2.
Performing a violent no, this is sorry. This is the one you're thinking.
Well,
I have 1 and 2.
get 1 and 2.
Yes. Prime movers are what?
Your abs.
Yeah. I think it's a one. That's a different
Plane of motion, or is it plyometric, or is it explosive? It's not a jump. Are we jumping? No. Tuck.
What is that, swing? Swinging. Okay.
You got it.
Because you're actually the suspension.
Suspended
Or
squat.
That's a one.
Well, okay, well, I did,
I guess it feels like.
no, I've got it going on my.
Well, on this one, it's explosive, we're changing plane of motion.
Oh, yeah. You guys doing okay over here?
All right.
You make a category 1, 2, and 3 on the